All right, welcome folks. I am Jaby Koay, joined by STEPH. What up, bro? And we're looking at Love, Death, and Robot. We're looking at Life, Hutch, and the Drowned Giant. Sorry, we've been doing 3 at a time, so I was a little bit thrown by the odd number. That's not a word. Anywho, if you guys are joining this on YouTube, then you will see a cut down version of our reaction because we're only allowed to show you a limited amount of picture-in-picture. However, if you want to watch the whole thing with us, uncut, uninterrupted, head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/JabyKoay, or become a member of this channel so you can watch the whole series with us, but you will need your own Netflix subscription so you can open up the episodes in an adjacent window to our reaction, and it's like you're watching with 2 of your favorite pals from the internet. Now, if you're watching this on memberships or Patreon already, thanks so much for supporting us here. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, please, bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up. Let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Here we go. Yeah, you can already see it.
I'm gonna die here.
Is that Michael B. Jordan?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
It kind of looked like him.
Every time I watch one of these, and they look so lifelike, my first question is always...
Who is that?
Are they real or is it CGI? That's always my first question, because it looks so real sometimes. Well, he messed up.
Oh, it looks like a whole war is going on or something.
How many times are going to be dealing with this?
Yeah.
Oxygen remaining business. I suppose it's just a component of anything. Spacefaring, space traveling, space battles. You know, the nicest thing about that tech is it works with gloves.
Yeah.
Looks like we both had a rough
They can
landing.
still text.
You ever try using your iPhone when you got gloves on? It's the worst.
No, it's the worst. You have to pull it out and then your fingers are freezing.
Yeah.
Light Hutch activated. Warning, damage detected.
How does he get so messed up?
Maintenance robotics. Error. Maintenance robotics. Malfunction.
Oh no! Oh, nasty.
Nova 6 en route.
Nova 9, en route.
Nova 4 en route.
Acknowledged. You are go for weapons high.
Copy that.
I think you might be right.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. That's crazy. He's in a life or death situation and then he's a flashback to another life or death situation.
It's a bad day, bro. He can't go back outside without the helmet.
Oh, that's right. Oh, he's screwed. Oh, that's right. Maybe you can order one on Amazon.
Prime.
They'll deliver to you at midnight. What? Oh no. Don't try. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh.
Aww. I just feel bad for this guy. Man, he went from like a terrible situation to a terrible situation.
Oh my gosh, his conditions right now.
Oh, he's gonna flash a flashlight in its eye. Oh! Fucking fuck! Damn it! Come on! Quack! Come on, dude!
Smart.
How does he get out of there?
Oh man.
His poor hand.
I can't with his hand.
Mayday message received.
Yucky ducky.
Warning. Maintenance robot malfunction. Warning.
Think.
Maintenance robot.
Man, that voice would drive me nuts. Pretty cool. Like so whatever battle that was going on, it seemed to be a Dyson sphere around a star. That's what it looked like to me. Like there was 3 stars with Dyson spheres. That's what it looked like. I don't know if that's what it was or just some kind of alien craft that didn't make sense to me. And it's just like a super creative design. You know what a Dyson sphere is?
No.
Okay. The idea with the Dyson sphere is that the best, most optimal way to harness the energy of the sun is to create like these sphere around it. I mean, that was more like rings around it.
Yeah.
A Dyson sphere would cover it entirely.
Okay.
But like you can get, I guess, I don't know if they're called Dyson rings. I'm not sure what the terminology is at that point, but they're like rings that like orbit or circle the sun like that so that you can extract as much energy as possible from it. They say that the last remaining humans, like when we're all gone and like great descendants, like will be hovering around like a dying star that's like got a Dyson sphere around it, just trying to extract as much energy as they can from it before that goes.
Dang.
Yeah, like that's obviously far in the future. We don't have to worry about that shit. We're in the good times. So, but it's just like a cool creative thing to integrate into that and showing you the perils of space travel, kind of like the one we watched with the girl who had to like lose her own arm, or that one was sort of in the vein of Gravity. The sound design was super cool when he fell out of the ship, and it was kind of this hollow thing because in space, without air, there is no sound. I thought that was neat. And then the perils of just a robot gone rogue, a robot gone haywire, just wrong, that is designed to help you. One malfunction and it could just turn on you and try to eliminate you because you're a threat. And the idea that he was able to use it, like screw with its own circuitry, almost like a cat, you know, distracting a cat with a light. I thought that was a cool idea. And the marrying of this, it's a non-linear storytelling, the marrying of the two plots where it kind of takes you back as he's like kind of going through his mind as he's just sitting there trying to come up with a solution. And what it teaches you is if you just stay calm, you'll come up with a solution even in the worst of situations. You know?
Yeah, seriously, I love the idea of man v machine and then using the most classic man-made invention that's been around for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Light, fire, whatever it may be. So I really like that. I don't think we should ever make robots like that strong though.
They already do. They just don't have sentience.
Oh yeah, we've seen the
Boston Robotics
robot. Yeah. Not for it. Smashed his hand. Jaby.
Yeah, exactly. That was awful. And then, you know, the great thing about that was he didn't scream out. What made that so painful was that he didn't scream.
It was a single tear.
Yeah. When characters hold back, that's what makes things more painful.
Yeah.
You know, like when you see a character in a film who's like trying not to cry and it's kind of coming out anyway, that's painful to watch. When you see a character who's hurting, but they cannot emit a sound for some reason, that's when it feels even more painful. more than someone actually crying out in pain. And so I was feeling for him, just like, oh God, and you feel it vicariously through him, because we all know what it's like to fuck up our hand.
Yeah.
And just to have a robot stepping on your hand. Oh, man, I felt so bad for him. And when they had that nice, I'm not a horror person, but I enjoyed the horror elements of this because well, neither one of us are horror people actually. And we're watching this thing that is like a lot of horror stuff. When his flashlight fell out of his pocket and rolled on the floor and he like missed it almost. I was like, fucking, like it got me amped up in a way that I don't generally feel when I'm watching horror films.
Yeah, they did a really good job of building tension, but not letting it hang too long. Like it was worth it.
Yeah. I guess the robot gone rogue or the robot gone wrong is something that's kind of classic and we've actually seen quite a bit. But it gave me like either Predator vibes or Jurassic Park vibes, because if he didn't move, he wasn't seen. Even though that's not, dinosaurs' movement is not based on vision. That's the hoax perpetrated by Jurassic Park. But the notion that if he didn't move, he wasn't noticed was something I first saw in Predator. It's like, as long as you did you ever watch? You didn't watch Predator?
No,
okay.
Yet.
So in Predator, the original, Arnold Schwarzenegger at one point covers his body heat with mud. I don't know if it works like that, but he did. And as long as he didn't move, the Predator couldn't see him. If you haven't watched Predator yet, I just gave away a big plot point. Sorry. I did enjoy that element of it. It's like as long as he didn't breathe, which is hard to do because your heart rate is racing, but he's a soldier, so he's trained. And Michael B. Jordan, I assume that was him. I thought it was Blur Studio. I wonder how many of these they produced. I wonder if they did all of them or just the ones that look like this.
Yeah.
I already told you about Blur Studio.
Yeah. Everywhere these people go, which is true to real life, there's threats. And it's like, because people are afraid of machines are afraid of people and vice versa.
Yeah.
Can we just get along?
It made me wonder what, I guess it doesn't really matter what he was fighting up top.
Yeah.
It's not the point.
It's like Top Gun. We don't know.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. All right, on to the next one. The last episode of the season, The Drowned Giant.
Morning before the town heard the first news of the arrival after it had been spotted by local fishermen.
Oh, God.
Being scientists, my colleagues and I, of course, discounted the first reports as exaggerations or a trick of the light. But as ever more eyewitnesses returned from the beach, we finally decided to investigate for ourselves.
Ah. Yet another classic example of how do I share this reaction on YouTube?
Possible to assess the age of the giant, but his classically modeled mouth and nose suggest he had been a young man of discreet and modest temper.
Can you imagine?
His magnificent Homeric stature offered a more authentic example of a drowned Argonaut or a hero from the Odyssey than the conventional human-sized portraits previously in my mind.
That's gotta be scary. Looking at,
Oh my gosh. Just in the palm of his hand is a lake.
But above all, it was simply the categorical fact of his existence, in which we spectators on the beach were such imperfect and puny copies.
Uh-oh.
Why would you climb a dead body?
From a distance, it looked as if he was merely asleep and could, at any moment, clap his heels together and crush the minuscule replicas of himself that swarmed around him. But as time passed, the magical spell cast by the giant began to dissipate.
We best get back to town. They'll be dancing.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Sensing a particular interest in the giant, my associates at the Institute delegated the task of keeping the giant under observation to me, because, for all intents, the giant was still alive for me. Indeed, more alive than many of the people around me.
Ugh. I hate when people litter.
The following day, I deliberately postponed my visit until late afternoon, hoping that I'd find fewer people on the beach.
That has to stink.
Yeah.
This was the beginning of his surrender to that all-demanding system of time in which the rest of humanity found itself. However repellent it may seem, this ceaseless metamorphosis this visible life in death, is what gave me the courage to finally set foot on his corpse.
I'm surprised there's talk of his body being cut up to be moved as opposed to like being
crane.
studied.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell?
This new perspective made me more aware of the last physical agonies of the giant, no less painful for his unawareness of them. In the end, his face had been transformed into a mask of exhaustion and helplessness. Caught in that same twisting whirlpool for which all our finite lives are destined.
Cigarette buds.
When I visited the beach the following day, I found, almost with relief, that the head had been removed. Some weeks elapsed before my next journey to the beach, and by then any human likeness held by the giant had vanished. And with the loss of those few remaining traces of personality that had clung tenuously to the figure, the interest of the spectators had at last expired. Months later, after the giant's arrival had been generally forgotten, various pieces of the body began to reappear around town. I have no doubt that if I searched the town's pubs, hotels, and eateries, I'd also find the mummified nose or ears of the giant.
Get him here! Koay, get out of here! You want to look? You...
Oh my God.
That monumental apparatus, stunning in its proportions and once potency, occupies a complete tent to itself, though sadly it is mislabeled as belonging to a whale. Even those who came and saw the giant after the storm now remember him, if at all, as merely a large sea beast. But the giant is still alive for me.
I don't get it. Do you?
Not really. I mean,
I was sort of getting it initially with how quick we are to make dirty, dehumanize this person. Like that. Well, this thing that's like for the scientists, this beautiful thing. How quick we are to just step all over it and tag it and cut it to shreds and not appreciate it or value it. And it's like this is just sort of human nature to just immediately piss on something as soon as we can, like a cat, as opposed to respecting it.
Yeah.
There's no respect for it, for this massive creature that they've never seen before. It's like not long before it's taken for granted. And that's the awful thing about humanity that seems so true. Louis C.K. had a stand-up bit years ago where he said, I was on an airplane and it was the first time they were introducing Wi-Fi on an airplane, internet on an airplane, brand new technology. And after about an hour, they said, I'm sorry, we're experiencing issues with this new technology. It's not gonna work for the rest of the flight. And this guy next to Louis C.K. was like, this is like this technology that he didn't even know existed 61 minutes ago, he's already criticizing.
Yeah.
He's already taking his shit on. And to me, that's what this is sort of speaking to, is just how quickly we are to disseminate something, to take it apart, dismantle it, and claim it for ourselves, when it's like, why can't we just value this for what it is for a moment before? It takes place on a beach. So it's probably also speaking to how we mistreat the seas and the creatures of the sea. There's overfishing going on, and we're fucking hard with just the aquatic life and their ability to mate, procreate, and we're messing with the food chain in a very, very bad way. Up until recently, we were creating like crazy sound waves in the ocean to lay down our internet cables, and it was messing with the whales' ability to communicate with each other, you know? Try to imagine your iPhone, your cell phones just stop working. Like, just stop. Your internet just stops working, and that's just for everybody, you know. It just stops. That's what it's like to be a whale when these booms are being shot into the ocean and whales are having a hard time communicating with each other. That's what that kind of says to me. I don't know, what about you?
Yeah, I think that's definitely it. Us as humans, we have such an ownership issue
Yeah.
where we think we're owed things.
Yeah.
And just because if it's in front of us, we're like, this is fun. We have no idea of sacredness. We've seen it with native lands. We just like will plow through them. If it's not directly related to us, if the body is not a human size, we do a pretty decent job of dead human bodies that look like us, but it's so funny the minute that it's second detached from us, we're like, let's stand on it, which was shocking to see that not all scientists are great, but she's the one who kind of started it, his partner.
That's true.
Which is, I feel like, wildly inappropriate. I know a lot of my friends who are in med school that do anatomy classes and work with cadavers. They have huge morality rules about what they can and can't do. Obviously, no pictures to be taken. It's not a joke. It's a dead body.
Yeah, it's very respected.
Yeah.
That is kind of crazy that she decided to do that, but they just saw it as something to conquer, as opposed to something to respect. Yeah, I suppose you can extract that all throughout our histories. This is kind of how we treat things. I mean, it sucks. I mean, life and death has been had over land and precious goods and whatnot.
I like the narrator telling of it, though. It was a different storytelling form. I like looks like he was writing in a scientific journal, but we got to hear it.
That's true. You know what I like about the other ones more than this is it often feels like there's an arc. There's like a story to it.
Yeah.
Whereas this was sort of an event, and it's like, okay. And it's like, it just leaves you with an ellipses at the end. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what's the story though?
Yeah.
You know? And so it's just this thing that happened. And I guess it's cool in its own right, because it's, like you said, it's different. As you just mentioned, it's like a journal entry. It is an interesting commentary on humanity as a whole. Like, if we imagine like an alien body showed up, like how quick is it before we just start fucking with it and like trying to cut off pieces for ourselves and sell it on the black market or something like that?
Before we even ask where it came from.
Yeah.
Where he came from. Are there more?
Yeah.
There's so many questions.
Yeah.
And then but the first thing that they're like, let's tag this.
Yeah, let's tag, let's step on it, let's jump on it. Yeah, it's sad. It's a commentary on our species and just how messed up we can be. But I don't know if that's limited to humans. That might just be nature. You know, it's just an expression of how we do it, but that might just be nature in general. You ever see cats? You ever put a piece of chicken in between a bunch of cats? Mm-mm. Like, one cat will take it and then hold on to it, and when other cats try to come close, it will like hiss at the other cats and be like, no, don't mess with me, this is mine. And they're very possessive. When an animal decides something is mine or it's theirs, they're extremely possessive of it. And so I think that animals in general are just possessive. And there's this expectation of us that we are elevated above that because of intelligence. It's like, but there's a third of our brain that's still very primitive.
Yeah.
And so I think that the tagging and all that and the taking it apart is just our way of expressing the same things that animals do, which is just like, it's ours, you know? And so you can look at that as just kind of messed up, or that's just nature, you know? So space does it, you know? Black holes are like, yo, all this shit,
mine.
All mine.
Mine.
All of it is mine. I'm gonna eat all this up. It's just nature. Anyway, you guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. Do let us know your feelings in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon, please, all notifications, and vote this up. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
STEPH. SABRAW.
Peace out.